time for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or
Welcome back, Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones. We got Hatch hanging out in the pilot seat tonight. How you doing, Hatch?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, but it seems like you've been a little pissy since you got here.
I mean, we've been waiting on this.
Oh, bullshit. How long? 10, 15 minutes?
I think we could poll the audience, and they would say much longer.
They've been here 2 hours before you got here.
This is true.
So they've all been drinking.
They have.
So welcome back to another show.
We're all here.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
What are you smoking?
I am smoking the classic Tennessee Waltz.
Oh, nice. You know what I had earlier today?
What?
The Yellow Rose.
There you go. Can't go wrong.
In fact, I was in the humidor to get a Yellow Rose, and this dude came in, and I was like, hey, man, I see you went straight to where you know what you want. And I don't even remember what he was getting, but I was like, I do a talk show about cigars. You want to know what my top 5 recommendations are? And he was like, yep. And then he bought all 5 of those.
I'm impressed.
Because I was like, tell me what you like. And then I was like, dude, let me tell you the best 5 in that category.
You could be a cult leader.
Yeah, I'm trying.
I know.
I'm working it.
It wouldn't be that difficult.
I got a van. Got a van.
You're halfway there.
Booyah. And we've got here, this is Jonestown.
This is true.
We're changing the name of the studio to Jonestown Studio.
You're basically following a template that's been laid.
Yeah, exactly.
Where is our land on the island?
Who doesn't want to get laid? I mean, that's not what I meant. Never mind. So, how's that cigar?
It is as it should be. It is great.
Okay. So, here's the funny thing is, for a minute, I couldn't remember what I'm smoking because I took the band off. I'm smoking a McAuliffe Blue.
Can't go wrong.
Cannot go wrong. And I'm probably going to light up something before we get to the halfway point because I'm almost to the last third.
Yeah.
And it's been a delight, but you've been like whipping me with a whip or a broom saying, go, get it together.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. It's like herding cats. So, this show would not happen if somebody did not herd you around. That's the reality of what we're talking about here.
Well, then what I can tell you is I need more herding. That's a fact.
Oh, my gosh.
Anyway, tell everybody what we're drinking. So we're going to change up, but right now...
I don't know what you have, but I've got the 1792 Full Proof.
Oh, that's what you're drinking?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just opened that.
No, I poured it.
Did you have any of the rye?
No, but I've had it before.
Okay, so I'm drinking the Jack Daniel's Rye Single Barrel Proof, which is 132 proof.
And it's good.
It is good. And we're going to discuss another bourbon just as a review right before we do the Showcase Showdown.
Okay.
And that is going to be the what is it called?
No.
The Riff.
Yeah. Single
malt.
Yeah.
And so we're going to review that, guys. So we'll give you our insights, see what you think. And I would love to get feedback if you've tried it. And if you haven't, I would say, we'll listen to the review.
Yeah, there you go.
So anyway, hey, before we jump in to the main part of the show, tell everybody what's coming up on today's episode.
Today we are talking about the Buffalo Run that you and I just did. We've been talking about this for quite a long time. Months and months, and we've done it. We're going to give you our full review of it,
and we'll tell you what was awesome and what wasn't awesome and what they should do different. If they ever listen to the show, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we should do that."
Absolutely.
So I haven't seen any asking of what'd you think.
Not yet. I hope it comes. I hope it comes.
I think so. I mean, that would seem to be like appropriate.
Most give, feedback forms, and I have a lot to fill out.
When you participate in an event like this, you would suspect that they are going to be say like, hey, what'd you think about it?
Right.
What do you think we should do different?
Absolutely.
If you want to improve every year.
Yeah. And they're 4 years in. Like, why not?
So tell everybody else what we got else all coming on the show.
We've got the Showcase Showdown, and then we have got our guest, which is a motorcycle cop.
First
responder.
I was going to say
law enforcement. What do you want to be? Let's ask him what he wants to be referred to.
I've already nicknamed him Dirty Harry.
Okay, we can go with that.
So we'll have Dirty Harry on the show later. He's old enough to know that, dude. You're not.
Oh, shut up.
You know that was Clint Eastwood movie.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know how far back.
Our age is not that far apart.
I mean, I thought you were barely legal to drink. Okay.
Jeez.
Anyway, what else we got on the list?
Oh, Lord, I don't know. You don't remember, do you? That's why you're asking
sent
me.
You the list.
So I'm just supposed to rattle it off. We got our sponsors. We got. I've been told we're going to talk about some of Rob's bullshit, whatever that means.
That's on every show.
Okay, well, you won't miss out on this one either.
He's always got some
We've
bullshit.
got a show announcement. I don't know what that is.
Big announcement.
Okay, I'll have to learn that too.
We're going to go through this. This is what that is.
Oh, mother. Okay.
Oh, mother of pearl. All right. So anyway, guys, we're going to jump in here shortly about the Buffalo Run. We're going to talk about the Cigar Talk vehicle experience, and then we're going to talk about Hatch's vehicle experience. And they were quite different.
Yes, they were.
They were very, very different, which I'm still pissed at her about. But, you know, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes.
Yep.
So anyway, how clean is the freaking air in here?
The air is amazing, and
We
it
have
is
5
thanks
people smoking.
to Rabbit Air. This
Yeah.
place is filled up with people. Allegedly, we've got one more coming. There is no smoke. It's remarkable.
I mean, it's lights out, boom.
Yeah. Rabbit Air, go get you one.
In fact, I was talking to someone who was building a cigar lounge, and they said that their plan was to have 3 of those in their shop.
Well, that
And
seems a
because
bit overkill. How big is this lounge? Good Lord.
1,800 square feet.
Oh, okay. Well, you probably need that.
Yeah. So, but anyway, what they loved most about it was how quiet it is.
No joke.
You know, those smoke eaters can be kind of loud.
Yes. From personal experience,
And it's
yes.
just a low, deafening hum.
Yes.
And so, Rabbit Air, you can't hear it.
No, not at all. Seriously, you
I
can't.
mean, unless you turn it on max.
Yeah.
When you turn it on max, you can hear it, but otherwise. And then we got McAuliffe cigars. I'm smoking a blue.
I bought 4 blue today and 4 black today.
Oh, the blacks are good. Did you see right there? There's a box of blacks up in that humidor over there.
Okay.
Also, some medallias, because you know I
I bought some medallias too. Yes, I bought 4 of those. I had to restock. I've smoked up everything.
So the medallias, which size do you get?
The size you get. Same
The
one.
Corona Extra.
Yes.
6x46. Always just a great cigar.
Perfect.
Have you ever lit one of those up and it was not good?
Actually, no, never.
The construction.
Construction, draws great. I mean, it's consistent the entire time.
So the guy that was in there looking for cigars, and I told him about the medallia, of course. I told him about the Sun-Grown from Tabanero. But when I told him, I said, both of these companies test draw their cigars. And I said, have you ever got a cigar that was plugged and you couldn't smoke? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, doesn't that piss you off? And he's like, yeah, especially if it's an expensive cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, everybody should be doing that.
Absolutely. It's
I don't-
it's quality control.
Perdomo.
Yeah.
They do it. But that's the only 3 I know that actually do all their cigars. And if they don't pass, they throw them in and they use that as grind up and use it later.
Wow.
So anyway, let's jump into the Buffalo Run charity for Camp Abel.
Do you want to go first? I think you should.
Well, let's tell everybody what we drove first.
Okay.
What'd you drive?
So we've been talking about how back in November I had purchased a 01 Subaru Forester.
Yeah, the Lesbo mobile.
That is correct. And what was it? 2 weeks ago, it got
You found out that it had a leaking head gasket?
It got a very bad report at the mechanic and
The
basically
doctor said, "It's
this
sick."
thing is going to blow any minute. And I was like, no. So
And you found a freaking car to take on a race in 2 weeks. And really, you found
less than
it.
a week. Less than a week.
You actually found this car, or you bought this car on Monday
Correct.
and raced it on Thursday.
Yes. And it belonged to a friend of a friend. We talked, and she just wanted to get rid of it.
And tell them what it was.
I'm getting there.
Damn. She's feisty tonight,
You
folks.
can't tell a story with this man. So, yes, a few days ago, I purchased a 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe, a little SUV, little 4-door. And that little puppy, it looks better than the Subaru, but there were 4 or 5 indicator lights going off on the dash. And so something's going on there. And Rob took it for a little test drive.
And I drove it like I stole it, folks.
Yes, he did. I'm like, this is a delicate vehicle, and you drove it like you're leaving the country.
I mean, I was like, there's somebody chasing me, and I got to get away.
Yes. Nobody is shocked by this, by the way.
No.
So anyways, that's what I drove. I drove a 2007 Hyundai Santa Fe.
And then we took the tires off of the Subaru.
Yes.
And put 2 of them.
2 of them
on the regular car.
Yes. And
we took it to Garcia Tire, which you had never been to.
Correct.
You know Garcia Tire?
I'm sure he's arrested a few people from there, but, we won't talk about that.
All I know is we got a deal. And we got work done.
I'm happy to support a local business.
Exactly. A little brick and mortar action. More mortar than brick.
You know what? They were good to us, and there you go.
Yeah.
So that's all that matters.
And so you guys at home, if you don't know, I don't know where you've been, but we drove a 1992 Astro van and 174,000 miles. And we got a few upgrades. We did the shocks. We did the front brakes, and we did new rubber all the way around, and we got a AC charge.
Yes, and I guess for the Hyundai, all I did was just charge up the AC.
Yeah, and your AC was awesome.
Yes, in fact, I had to buy a blanket midway because I was so cold.
Ours sucked.
I think if anybody watching the live stream knew that y'all were dying in there, your windows were rolled down the whole time.
Yeah, because we were hot. And when it was night, it was cooler outside than it was on the AC.
It was so hot, it was 100 degrees out, and you still had the windows down.
Yeah. I drove the van today, and the heat was hotter than what was outside.
Yeah. So tell them what happened to you on the race.
Okay, well, first of all, you knew we were going to be late.
Everybody who's ever met you knew you were going to be late.
Like, I did a million things that day, starting 2 hours before the race, to get shit done.
Does this surprise a single person who knows you? No.
Like, I was like, we're going to be driving up, and they're going to be leaving. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. We drove up, and when we got to the starting line, there were no other cars that were racing.
Yes, that's correct.
And what's funny is, as we were pulling in, some lady goes, "Only vans? Only vans?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, y'all made it." And she's like, "Well, unfortunately, we gave your packet to Last Chance," was the name of the vehicle. And I was like, "So what's this?" She's like, "Well, Last Chance, we gave them only vans." And I was like, "Oh, I wasn't real excited about that. I wanted our packet." But anyway, we got a packet. And then at that point in time, well, so on the way up there, though, we stopped and got gas, and the radiator took a big shit. Mm-hmm. Like, threw up all over the pavement, and then it started getting hot. And I was like, all I can do is put coolant in it.
You need to post that photo you sent us.
Larry's standing there, and it looks like the van is sick, and it's thrown up.
Yes, it does.
Because it's green. So we get coolant in it. We finally get going that way. Oh, so while I go in to get coolant, I'm also like, you know what? I need to get me some of that nicotine pouch stuff, the Rogue, while I'm in there. Because, if I'm not smoking, I still want to get nicotine. Mm-hmm. And so I asked this. There was 2 young guys working. They looked like they were like 19. One of them was a chubby fella with a lot of hair and a lot of beard. And then the other guy looked like he fell off a tomato truck yesterday, country bumpkin, but that Nebraska Cornhusker look, mm-hmm. with a flat bill hat. Mm-hmm. And I was like, "Hey, can I get some of the wintergreen 6 milligram?" And he's like, yeah. And the farm boy was like, "We don't have any." And I was like, "Oh no, I'm looking at it right there, bro." And he goes, "That's spearmint." And I was like, "Oh, well, what's that other green one?" He was like, "That's green apple." And I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah." He's like, "I wanted to try the green apple, but I didn't have enough money."
Are we really talking about your nicotine pouch right now?
Yeah.
Let's get back to the race.
Can I just finish the story? We're almost there.
Mother of God.
So anyway, I say, "Yeah, I love the wintergreen, but I'll give you a tip. if you're looking for that green apple, try that one anally.
So once you left for the race,
Yes.
let's get to
I
that.
left when I went to the race, and as we're coming into Buffalo Gap, like all the race cars are going out.
So you're on the road doing the race, and then tell everyone what happens.
No. That's where I'm going to leave off and let you. What time did you get there? So the race started at 6 something.
They're at like 5 because they had said, we're going to do.
They said be there at 4.
No, they said people get there at 4. We didn't feel the need to do that. So we got there, parked, lined up, got our registration stuff, found out all the info, got in the car, and took off with everybody else. Like a responsible racer would do.
How many racers were there?
There were 31 signed up.
So we were number 31, leaving out on her own.
Do we even really count that? I mean, really, we should just say there were 30 racers.
Okay, there was a donator.
Oh my!
We were the donators because it's like, so here's the deal. We left 30, 40 minutes after everybody else. Because once we went in, they're like, hey, here's your packet. And they wanted to explain everything. And I was like, we're leaving out here at least 30 minutes behind everyone. We're screwed. And at that point, I made a decision. We're not going to do any of the challenges. We're going to do the whole route, and we're going to be first. Even though we'll be disqualified because we didn't do the challenges. But if we're not doing challenges, that would give us an advantage to make it back first.
It's not an advantage. It's just plain cheating. There's no advantage.
You're just disqualified for that.
Correct.
Right, but it would be something fun because we know we're not going to win doing the challenges. That's what I was saying.
Anyways, all right, So
you left with the group.
I left with the group.
How far back were you from the front?
Well, they let the first 15 go first.
Were you in the first 15?
No. Oh. So everybody else, it's just first come, first serve. So
how early do these people buy into this shit? Because you bought in early.
I bought in first day, but I didn't buy. It was first day, but it was several hours after they had opened. So there were 15 ahead.
That's crazy. 15 people signed up before you did.
Yeah. So
Someone's at the front door.
That's Alexa. She don't know shit.
Anyways, so everybody takes out in a line. There's a north route and a south route. So you pick which way you turn. So right off the bat, everybody's picking a route that they're going.
Okay.
So you're going to go the north route or the south
route? And which way did you go?
I went north.
And tell everybody what you did first.
So I had strategized because 2 of the events where you had to catch a fish with this little device called a catch and reel. Is that right?
No,
Chillin' reel. Chillin' reel. You Google it. It was a Shark Tank item, but it's a little koozie.
It's a koozie with a knob on the side that you wrap your string around.
Correct. And you're supposed to catch a fish with that at some point during the race.
Is that the first thing you did?
First thing we did was we went and buried roadkill because that was part of what you had to do.
What'd you bury?
I buried a bird, a little black bird. You had to give it a funeral and all that.
It's funny because I was going to do the burial thing and it was going to be with a black dude.
Uh-huh. Anyways.
Black bird, black dude.
Oh my gosh.
It was Larry.
I'm glad you had to clarify that.
Want to make sure.
So, anyways, we went over. My mom's neighbor has a very stock tank with catfish. I mean, there are several dozen massive catfish that he feeds every evening.
And you saw them.
Oh my gosh, yes. He threw dog food in and literally dozens
of mouths are
of massive catfish are coming up. So you're just kind of trying to chunk this line and hope one takes it. And probably within 15 to 20 minutes, we caught one. And actually, I just found out today, our fish was the biggest fish. So we get a little award for that.
Badass. Because you said it was small.
It was small compared to the fish in there. But in terms of the fish everybody else caught, it was actually
a pound and a
big.
half.
Yeah, it was pretty big.
It was a big cat. I mean, it wasn't huge, but
No.
for what other, there was like little bitty fish.
Like teeny tiny minnows practically. So anyways, so we did that and then immediately left and headed towards Dublin. And that was kind of the first city.
How'd you get to Dublin?
We went 20 and then cut off.
We didn't go 20 because we left from there and we went like Cross Plains, what was that town? Rising Star, Comanche.
So tell everyone what happened to you.
Okay, first of all, on the route we were going, we were going to Athens because we thought that was the next closest town.
People, I'm going to time out here. I have only sent Rob the route probably no less than 5 times. And even the day before, he's like, Casey, what route are you taking? Send me the cities. Tell me the exact pathway. And I, for again, like the 5th or 6th time, sent it. And did any of that do anything? No. So that anytime he asks you for something... But the
towns had a star. They didn't have the name of the town. So on the map...
I sent you the names of the towns in a text message. The moral of the story is you can give this man everything he needs, and it does not do anything.
You ever heard that you can lead a horse to water?
No fucking shit.
Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Well, such language from a lady. So anyway, me and Larry are on our ways to Athens when we should have been on our way to Italy. And she calls and says, hey, where y'all at? And I'm like, we're like so-and-so. And she's like, okay, we're like 27 minutes behind you. I'm like, oh, wow. Which way did you go? And she's like, well, why are y'all so far north? I'm like, because we're going to Athens. She's like, no, you're supposed to be going to Italy. And I was like, oh. So good thing we wasn't that far out of the way. It was still kind of like on the way. But instead of going the way you went, we went through Glen Rose. And what I know about Glen Rose is that they sell the most badass fried pies you've ever had.
We're going to stay on topic here. We're not going to talk about the fried pies.
Oh, that was the best part of the whole fucking race.
Stay on topic.
Larry didn't get any because he's not eating carbs.
So you get to Alvarado.
Okay, so after we got the pies, we go through the Cleburne area, and then we end up in Alvarado, and that's like right on I-35. I get out of the van. Well, no. Larry was driving, and I couldn't take that anymore. And I said, hey, man, pull into this gas station, because I wasn't telling him why, but the whole deal was I was going to be like, you got to let me drive, bro.
I hope you never have to fill out a police report.
No. I don't do that. Anyway, I go inside, tell Larry that I'm going to drive, and the van's running. Larry is in it, and I go into the shop. I come back out, and Larry's walking towards me, and he's like, hey, man, it made some jittery sounds, and then it died, and it won't start. And I was like, what the fuck, dude? I'm thinking, what did you do? And anyway, it wouldn't start. So it was like, we're screwed. And so I started thinking about, okay, well, it could be a timing chain. And I was hoping that wasn't a timing chain, because then that would have been lights out done. And then I was like, but when you try to crank it, it's like really, really fast, which would tell you that it's not even trying to start because it's not getting any fuel. So I thought, well, maybe it's a clogged fuel filter, or it's just a bad fuel pump. Turns out it was a fuel pump. We call Casey and Larry. No, Casey and Stud Muffin over here. And right in the nick of time, Sam and I haul ass. Well, you pushed a button on that camera. We haul ass up to AutoZone that closes at midnight. And they're like, hey, man, it's going to be closed before y'all get there. And I'm like, I called them and I said, hey, man, we're going to be 1 minute. We're going to be 1 minute past closing. Will you wait for us? And he's like, all right. So we haul ass up there, and he beats the system, and we get there like 3 minutes early. We buy the fuel pump, and we've decided that we're not going to lower the gas tank because it's full. We've decided that we're going to cut a hole through the van floor just above the perfect place to where you can get to it, which is like this freaking big. And anyway, I buy some shears, metal shears, and they're the shittiest metal shears you've ever seen. But that's all they have. We go back, and Sam literally cuts a hole in the floor with a giant nail and a hammer and a screwdriver and those shitty...
Are you saying he never thought that maybe he would have to cut a hole in the floor of your van? He didn't problem solve that.
Like, I'm pretty sure no one thought we were going to do that. And I found a video on YouTube that people were cutting a hole above it and showed you the measurements and everything, how to do it. So that's what we did.
And how long long did that little project take?
Sam, what was that, about 7 hours? Well, from the time we started, it was probably 12:30, and we finished at 5:30? Yeah. So 5 hours to change out a fuel pump because we didn't have the proper tools and we had some hiccups along the way.
So then
No. Let's stop there. Let's tell everybody what you were doing while we were on the side of the road at a convenience store for 7.5 hours.
I was racing and kicking ass.
You were racing and kicking. Every once in a while, I'd pull your shit up and I was like, that bitch.
No, I was going everywhere, doing all the challenges. I met up with Sam and Casey at Luckenbach, and
that was towards the end of the race, though.
It was.
So while we broke down, because we were about to meet, like in 30 minutes?
Yeah, something like that.
And because we were going to wash each other's vehicle windows, which was a challenge.
Yes.
And then we were ghost.
Yes. And so I was counting on you for that because the funny thing is out of 31 teams, obviously the state is massive. You're spread out all over. And I'm like, we have yet to come across another team. And out of that entire race, we met one at 1 a.m. in Paris, Texas.
So did most people go south?
No.
Most people went north.
I know the people who came in first went north.
Okay.
And I don't know what the majority went. I honestly don't know. But I do know that once we got to Paris, there was one other vehicle that we saw there, and we were able to quickly wash their windshield and get the heck out. So, and outside of that, never saw another team the entire.
So just so everybody knows, Cigar Talk was a DNF, did not finish.
Uh-huh.
There was 30 other cars racing.
Mm-hmm.
What place did you guys end up coming in?
We came in 13th, which
is impressive.
It's impressive.
First time.
Honestly, we really thought with how fast we were going that we would be in the top 5. Like, we legitimately thought that. And I'll be honest, the team that won beat us by 5 hours.
And you were like, what the hell?
And we have all been talking pretty much all day long about this.
Like, you don't know how that could be possible.
We don't know how that is logistically possible for us not truly jacking around killing time. Like, we don't know. That's a large margin.
Because y'all didn't mess around.
No. That's a very large margin.
Y'all stopped and got gas, and you were there for 5 minutes?
Let's say 10 minutes each time, but even that's pushing it. But still,
how many times did y'all get gas?
We stopped 6 times, which the only reason we stopped that much was because my car's gas gauge was not working. So we would just kind of gauge it by every 200 miles. Let's stop and top it off just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
So we had to stop more than we would have, but still that doesn't account for a 5-hour margin.
Let me ask you this. How much was a fill up on your little Hyundai?
I honestly don't know because it was a small tank. I mean, it may have been like 13-gallon tank or something.
Okay, so about how much was the total?
I didn't look at the total. I wasn't filling it up most of the time. I was handing my credit card to my co-pilot.
Okay. So I don't know if you know this, but when we were at Glen Rose and I was getting the pies, I put my credit card in, got the gas going. I go in to get my pies. I'm in there yakking with the woman that works there, telling her about the race. I bought 4 pies, all for me. I got a peach, an apricot, a cherry, and an apple. Mm-hmm. You like fried pies?
I do. We're not going down that rabbit hole.
Okay, but anyway, I come out and the van, I filled it up. It was $95. And I was like, I didn't know the tank was that big.
And you're like, the van gets great gas mileage.
Yeah, and I put the hose back where it goes, and I'm walking around, and I'm like, what's all this stuff on the ground that's wet? And one of the people on the YouTube live was like, is that gas? So I reached down and put my fingers in it. I'm like, holy shit. I don't know how much we filled up the van with, but we put a shit ton of gas on the pavement. It looked like the van had pissed all over the parking lot.
Again, no listener is surprised by any of that.
I was surprised. So anyway,
so here's my question: would you do it again?
We're on the fence right now.
Okay.
You know what? Here's the thing. Doing it the way we did it, which was I don't recommend anybody doing it that way, but the experience led to so much wisdom on what we would do different next time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, you feel like you learned a lot.
Yeah.
But then again, on the flip side, how would you make up 5+ hours?
I mean, I literally don't know. I've tossed that around for a day and a half now. And
here's the thing. Like when I first heard what time they came in, I was like, those cheating son of a bitches. But then you told me second place was like 30 minutes behind them, which is
like
also
30
like
or 45. Yeah.
Okay, well, that kind of legitimizes the first guy, or we got 2 cheaters.
Yeah.
So what was the third place time?
I don't know. They weren't like sending us times or anything.
Yeah. So what's the Okay, go ahead. So when you finished at the finish line,
my time was 22 hours and 15 minutes.
and for Cigar Talk, we'd already figured 24 hours.
Yeah. So I think my learning experience is I'm like you. I'm on the fence. First of all, it is a beating on your body. To be in a car that long is a beating.
It really was.
And
were you sore the next day?
You're sore. My entire car hit a fatigue wall at about 5:30 a.m. where it's incredibly difficult to stay awake.
That was what time we hit a wall, and
Yeah.
that's when the van was done, and it was like, we're heading back to Abilene.
It's a beating on your body. Now, here are the pluses. You get to see, first of all, it is a lot of fun. It really is. You also get to see a lot of really cool little towns that you probably otherwise wouldn't go through. And so you see things and you're like, man, I'd actually like to come back here and stop and hang out and, shop around, maybe walk around the square or something.
Yeah. Towns you've never seen before.
Absolutely. But it is really disheartening when you're like, I gave this my all and there was a 5-hour margin that I cannot figure out. And so I'm like, if people are cheating, that makes you not want to participate, because if you're in it to if you're doing everything right, that just sucks.
And let me just tell you folks this. When I saw Hatch's posted videos of the challenges y'all did, I was like, look at that competitive look in her eye. She is like, I'm going to win this shit.
Yeah.
You were like all in.
Yeah. And even Sam and Casey were like, man, I think they have a legit shot at this. And really, we were hoping for top 5. But when you are looking at
you were 13th.
Yes. And so when it's like, okay, I know some of the people aren't doing this correctly. That I do know for a fact. And they came in, before us, but still quicker.
They didn't win.
Yeah. They didn't win. But again, when you're like, I cannot possibly process how to make up that much time.
Like knowing what you know now.
We had no hiccups. We had 0 hiccups.
So let me ask you this. So knowing what you know now,
yeah,
have you thought of things that you could do to cut time?
I think if my car's gas gauge was working, and that you can obviously get that working.
Sure.
That would have helped. It would have meant less stops.
Is there anything else that you do to shave off time?
We did do one unnecessary stop that would have cost us, let's say, 15 minutes, and that was our car. We could smell oil burning, so we stopped at one of my driver's houses to get some extra oil. We could have not done that and just chanced it. But other than that, I mean, every stop we were not messing around. It was quick, get in the car, let's go.
Yeah, because y'all were doing challenges literally in 30 seconds or up to 2 minutes.
Yeah, and so I'm like, unless you're just flat out doing 100 miles an hour. And I mean, the thing is my car lights also were so fogged over. You had to drive with your brights on the whole time. I mean, it was so freaking dark. You could not see without the brights. And even that wasn't that great. I would change that.
So the van, same way.
Yeah.
Like when we were driving, I flipped on the brights and I was like, wow, it still looks like I'm on low beam, but I can see better than with low beam.
Yes.
And none of the oncoming traffic ever flashed us.
Yeah.
So it was not bright.
I think it's also important to say the team that won this year, this is their second year to win it. They won it back to back.
In a row.
So I'm like, I cannot process what they are possibly doing.
And they're car dealers.
Right.
So, I mean.
Yeah. So I'm like, who knows? But again.
Some shady shit.
Takeaway, we had a lot of fun. It benefits a good cause. It's, if you want to just have, something that's different, it's great. You had a hiccup, but you got the van back. That's a positive. And it's I think Sam said this, we made some really cool memories.
Well, like when we were done fixing the fuel pump, and when I say we, I mean Sam.
Right.
It was like, that was our challenge.
Yeah.
That's where we learned what we could do.
Yes.
And I don't know if Sam would want to do it again, but so Sam was the mechanic guy. I was the raw guy.
Mm-hmm.
like, because when we first discovered that it was the fuel pump, pretty much everybody but me was like, well, we're going to go chase down Casey. And I was like, fuck no.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get this son of a bitch running.
Yeah.
And so I was super, super thankful that Sam was like, fuck this, we're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was even questioning whether we should try it. And it's kind of like when you come over and hang out at Jonestown, like sometimes you're like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that.
I mean, he's dealing with putting stuff in a gas can. Like there's gas that we're dealing with here.
A full tank.
At a gas station, no less.
And I'll say this, after he replaced the fuel pump, the gas gauge started working.
Oh, well, there you go.
That was a plus.
Gosh.
There's one less thing I got to fix before the next race.
Oh, my gosh. So, yeah, that's my Buffalo Gap takeaway. My Buffalo Run takeaway.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much fun did you have?
I would say, honestly, a 10.
Really?
A 10 up until that last 5 hours when we learned
that you were already
that
done.
We weren't even remotely close to winning. Yeah. That was very disheartening.
So, after Sam fixed the car and we took off, we went by the McAuliffe headquarters, took a selfie with the van in the McAuliffe headquarters background.
Yes.
And then we went to Waffle House.
As you should have. I would have happily joined you.
We sat down and I ate a feast. No carb Larry. Ate like a kid. And anyway, we headed home and we got back. And we got back within 30 minutes. They won the race. And I was like, are you freaking for real? Yeah. We made one town and they made them all? I was like, there's some fishy shit. Come on. But, I don't know. I'm not going to make accusations.
Yeah.
Kent Beck. You know what? I'm going to ask him to come on the show and tell us about his
I think you should.
Don't you think Kent Beck should come do the show?
Heck yes.
All right. That's what we're going to do.
Okay.
All right. So that is the Buffalo Run story. Do we have a plan here for what's next? Or the special jar. Pull that jar up here. Let's take a look at it. So, guys, we have an announcement to make. We've been talking about Cigar Talk doing a sampler for a few months here. It's finally here. And I am going to talk to you about what's in the sampler packs. And these sampler packs are 5 in a pack. I don't know the money yet, so don't ask that. But anyway, here's where we are. The first pack is called Legends of the Leaf. It has the Alec Bradley Project 40 Churchill. You see that one with the white and blue band on this side. Then we have the Rojas Street Tacos Barbacoa. We have the Warped La Hacienda. We have the Wise Man Maduro. And we have the AJ Fernandez New World Connecticut. That is a very diverse.
Yes, it is.
If you want to take a journey palette-wise, that's going to hit everything.
Mm-hmm.
The next one, which is titled Smoky Revelations, is the Crux Bull and Barrel, the Dapper La Madrina, then the San Cristobal Revelation, the Romacraft Cro-Magnum, and the last one is the Tatawahe Fausto. Now, that one is going to give you a journey, but it's also a lot of stronger cigars. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Also very good cigars. Now, the last cigar sampler we're going to do is called the Righteous Smokes. The first one is the Alter Q Sumatra by Oscar Valadares. The next one is the Plasencia Reserva Original. Then we have the Charter Oak Habano and the Stillwell Star Bayou,
nice,
number 32. And then the AJ Fernandez New World Cameroon. Another great adventure for your palate. So anyway, that's what's in there.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, guys, coming up next, we have a man of the law in Jonestown. Okay. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after a quick break.
bad boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they...
Hey guys, thanks for hanging through the break. We have Mr. Jeff, law enforcement motorcycle rider. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks for coming on, man.
Who's Jeff?
Jason. Did I say Jeff?
You said Jeff.
I didn't know that. I have a good friend named Jeff, one of my best friends, so that's not an insult. Anyway, I don't know if we met before today or not. Like, I might have seen you around, but I don't think I met you until today. And so found out, really, I didn't even know much about you, but we talked at the Leaf today, and as guys do when they hang out at a cigar lounge, they meet people, find out about each other. And it's cool because you're a motorcycle cop. There's not very many of those. How many are in this town?
So we've got 4. There's
That's
4 of
not
us
very many.
on the motors, yeah.
Like, how many cops are in this town? You know, a ballpark number?
Yeah, so we're authorized like 220. We're like most police departments
Strapped for cash.
around. We're hurting for people. We're down probably 190 or so.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know the exact numbers.
So when you're down like that, does that mean people are working more and making overtime? Or
yeah, lots of overtime.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's good for the guys that want it. If you don't want it, do you have to take it?
No, there's no mandatory overtime. It's
Oh.
just if you want it, you know,
So that's
it's
nice.
there.
I mean, guys that want to make that money, they can.
They can, yeah.
If you don't want to, you're having your weekends.
Right.
And you work a badass schedule, by the way.
I work a great schedule.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I'm very jealous. Tell them what you do.
As far as my schedule goes, yeah, so I work Monday through Thursday. We work 10-hour shifts. So I work Monday through Thursday, 7 in the morning to 5 in the evening.
And so you're off from Thursday, 7?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's
Great-
nice.
great
man.
schedule,
That's a
yeah.
great schedule. And just so everybody knows, you served in the Army. Thank you for your service. We
I was actually in the
appreciate
Air
that.
Force.
Oh, well, then he didn't serve.
Yeah,
people. No, I'm
it's
just
the
kidding
Air
you.
Force, man.
You know, Larry was in the Air Force.
Yeah.
So we say he didn't serve. That's a joke. But you also have a son that's in a program right now. Tell everybody what he's doing.
Yeah, so
He's a badass, folks.
I don't know if I'd say that. He's
come on.
No, man, he's no, he's in the Navy.
He has a degree.
He does. He's an Aggie.
Yeah.
He graduated A&M.
Aggie, Navy, and he's going through badass programs. And so, I mean, you got to be a super proud dad.
Oh man, yeah,
And you are like tight. You are like,
yeah. He's
Really good
he's like
friends.
my best friend.
that's
I mean, he
badass.
really is. You know, that's my dude.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people, you know, have heroes. Look up to people, and really, he's my hero. He really is.
And you're his. You might
I
not
hope
say
so.
that.
Yeah.
I promise you, he's not close to you without that being the case.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're pretty tight.
how about you and your dad? Were y'all tight?
Not like that.
Yeah.
You know,
How old was your, or when you were, say, like 18, 19, 20, how old was your dad then?
so he's like 21 years older than me.
Okay. And so he retired out of the Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay. So was he still in the Air Force when you were 18?
Yeah. He was stationed out here at Dias. And when I was that age, I kind of graduated high school. He took an assignment over to Germany. So him and my mom and my little sister, they went to Germany, and I was here in
Oh,
the
you
States.
stayed here.
Yeah, I stay here.
Wow. How was that?
I mean, it was good. I was
Like,
going
Dad's out of the country. I can do whatever the hell I want.
No. No, they went, and I went to school, and then I enlisted myself. So, I was kind of doing my own thing.
How old were you when you signed up to go in the Air Force?
So I was 19.
Okay. What made you want to go in? I mean, that kind of tells me right there that your dad was kind of your hero. You followed in his footsteps, although you didn't stay in, but you went in the same branch.
Yeah. Looking for things to do. My dad kind of pointed me that direction, and it was a good opportunity. Went to school for a little bit, and school was never my thing.
Yeah, I went for a semester, and I loved every minute of it, but that was about the extent of it.
Yeah. Looking back, I wish I'd applied myself a little more as far as schooling goes. But, I wouldn't change anything. I wouldn't change my path because I wouldn't be where I'm at,
So when you enlisted, where was your first station, or what do you call it? Base?
Yeah, your duty station? Yeah, it was Minot, North Dakota.
Oh, how was that?
Well, they've got a saying. It's why not Minot? Freezing's the reason. It was cold.
Yeah.
I'm a Texas kid and hit Minot. I think it was like September. I was kind of a summer training deal, and hit Minot in September. And I get off the plane, right? I'm coming from Texas. And, basic training for the Air Force is in San Antonio. So I get off the plane, and of course I'm in, shorts and T-shirt, and there's like snow on the ground. And I'm like, what? Minot, it was an experience. I met some really cool dudes, guys that I still talk to occasionally. And that's kind of the deal, in the military. You make some good friendships.
You build bonds.
Yeah, you do, especially when you're young. I got married early. I was there for a little bit and got married. So it was me and my wife, Michelle. And it was.
So is your wife from up there?
No, she's from here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Her, she's a Marco girl.
Oh, okay.
And so all of our families here. So it was really just me and her, and just our friends that kind of I worked with, and a lot of couples that are in the same boat. So I used to make some real good friendships. And
so how was Minot though in the winter time?
oh my gosh, cold.
Like how cold are we talking? Because I don't think most Texans know how cold it can get. Like we think if it gets down to 15, it's cold.
Yeah, so I've been in some temperatures where it was 60 below zero, no wind chill.
Holy shit!
And so there's not a whole lot of trees there. There's not a and
So
it's not like a big it's not like a big metropolis. You don't have a lot of things to block the wind. The wind's howling. It can get 60 below at times.
That is unbelievable. So I had to go up to Nebraska for an assignment with the company I work for, and the high for the whole week was -1. The low, which was every night, I was working nights, and it was like -21. But dude, -60.
Yeah, it'd get cold.
When it gets that cold, your eye surface starts freezing over.
What's crazy about that? My wife likes to.
You're good.
Likes to sleep in the cold, right? So I'd be working midnights, and I'd come home dead of winter,
Freezing your ass off.
freezing, and you have the heater on and whatnot, and I'd go up, and my wife is sleeping, but she's got the windows open and like 12, like a dozen blankets just piled on top of the
I like
bed,
it cold
man.
when I sleep, but I don't want it that cold.
Mm-hmm.
I've been camping and been like, no, this ain't for me, bro. I'm not that guy.
Maybe the saving grace is back then, that's the early 90s. So, we still had the water beds, man. So we had a water bed, and,
The old style?
the old school water beds.
Do
with
they
the
even sell those anymore?
No, I don't know.
I remember a friend of mine had one. I forgot about those. Dude, in the 70s and 80s, they had water beds. That's crazy.
Right. So you had the water bed, and of course you had the heater, So you got the water bed. So the bed itself is like warm, right? So you crawl in You,
you're good,
you crawl into the water bed, and it's warm, and you got all these 900 blankets that you piles on. You snuggle up in there.
Yeah.
You know.
You're like in an igloo cocoon.
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
did
it's
you
pretty
like
cool.
it up there?
What's your definition of like? So
Would you go back?
I'd go back to visit, maybe.
Okay.
There's still a couple of dudes that
What was there something
live
to what was the fun shit to do while you were there?
Yeah, I'm still looking for that.
Nada.
No, just hang out. One of the cool things, I guess you could say, like all military dudes, they get together and have get-togethers, parties, whatnot. And the way base housing is they're like fourplexes and that, but they all had basements, right? So you do like this big man caves before we had man caves, and they all had these windows that would open, right? And you got to understand. So it'd start snowing in say October, and stop snowing in June.
Wow.
I mean, not literally, but
But April
winter-
snow.
yeah, and I mean, there's like feet. So we had a standard 5-foot chain link fence, right? And we had this German Shepherd. His name was Tequila. Dude, he was awesome. Big long-haired Shepherd, man. And
Full blood.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, he was awesome. I love that dude. And so he would go outside and he'd run, do laps around the fence. And but the snow was so high that if he wanted to, he could like literally just step over the fence.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, I mean, we're talking, 3,
So
4.
when he's running through the snow.
Yeah,
he's just-
he'd make these big tunnels. He'd start the snow, but he had these like tunnels that are 3 feet that he'd walk through. I mean, you couldn't even see them. But yeah, the snow would be so high if he wanted to, he could just step right over. But anyway, back to the off the rabbit trail. So we'd get together and we'd have these parties, and you'd just take your beer and you'd stick them outside
in the snow.
and keep them cold.
Didn't need a cooler.
Didn't need a cooler.
Hell
You just
yeah.
stick them in the snow.
So, but like, what about in the summer? Any fishing or, any outdoor activities, or is it just barren wasteland?
You looking back and you do some things differently. We might have traveled. I mean, we were like 30 minutes from Canada. So we went up to Canada. And this is before you had to
Have a
have
passport.
a passport to go across the northern and southern border. So we could just shoot up into Canada, hang out up there and just drive right back.
Like when you went
But-
into Canada, what area was of Canada? Like what big town did
Man.
y'all go to?
There was Manitoba. And it wasn't any really big towns. It wasn't, like
So why'd y'all go over there?
just to go, something to do.
Just
You're young and you just something.
Did y'all go to
something
bars over there?
do. Not really. So, yeah, the thing about being under 21.
oh, gotcha.
Until I turned 21. You can pretty much, if you wanted to drink or whatever, you could go. They let you do it on the base.
Okay.
Just to keep people from, because you could go across the border and their drinking age was like 12 or something like that. So to keep the young airmen there on base, they let you drink on base. So you could do that. And I'm not saying, drinking was all it was to
let me
do,
ask you this.
but
When did you start smoking cigars?
cigars.
Is that a military thing?
No, I didn't smoke cigars. I didn't start smoking cigars till I'd come back, and I was on a PD here. Man, I can't even think. It's let's see, my son's 22. Few years. Let's see, probably. See, I got on the PD in 97. I'd say probably 99, 2000 maybe.
Okay.
Ish. Somewhere around there.
So the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So what got you smoking cigars all of a sudden? I mean, because you're not 18 anymore. You're not 21. You've lived, you've served, and now all of a sudden it's like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna try a cigar. What led you down that road?
Man, that's an interesting question. I haven't really ever thought about it. I think if memory serves, there was a guy on the PD that kind of smoked cigars.
It wasn't the guy I asked you about, was it?
No,
Okay.
he came on long after. But I mean, it's just I don't know. It's one of those things that you just, okay, let's try that. And it was the Leaf. Bill was still running,
Good old man Bill.
on the Leaf, man. And so I worked the north side of town, and I worked that area, and just like slid in there one day and just got to talking and tried a cigar, and that was kind of it, man.
So, I mean, 25 years later, you're still smoking cigars.
Well, yeah, I did take a little hiatus. I got cancer in my
no
wife.
shit.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on being a survivor, because you're here.
Man. Yeah. So that's about, I guess it's going on about 11 years ago. So I smoked pretty regular. It was one of those things that my wife she'd actually go into the Leaf and buy me some and put them in my stocking and
nice.
whatnot. Yeah, so she was really totally cool with it. And we'd sit on the porch and guys come over and we'd sit and smoke, and then I got that whole cancer thing, and she put a kibosh on that for a while. And so it's
And you
probably
were
about
like, it's
10
probably a
years.
good idea.
Yeah, it's probably, it's for the better. Even though.
What was the experience like when you went into the doctor and he told you that you have cancer? I mean, how fucking tough was that? And then, like, what a mind shock it was.
Yeah.
How old were you then? 25 years? Or how long ago was that?
No, so I'm 52. That's 10 years ago. So I was 40, 41, 42.
Yeah. And that's a slap.
Yeah, it wasn't cool.
Yeah. You're like, fuck, this is the real shit.
Yeah.
And what was your mindset when you found out? Were you like, I'm going to beat this shit?
Yeah. Mine was. I had a great cancer doc, and he was like, hey, look, man, you're young. You're in good shape. So we're going to hit this thing really strong. And, this has got to, it's going to suck. But, we've got a, great, this regimen for this type of cancer is great success. So, you hit it really hard.
How bad was the treatments?
No, it sucked, man.
Yeah.
So short version is I'd go into the hospital. So I did in resident treatment. So I was in the hospital for like a week.
Damn.
With chemo the whole week, and I'd get a couple weeks off. I'd go home, and then
so you were off work this whole time?
Yeah. I thought I started off. My bosses were really, really great. And I was working in the schools. I was working at Abilene High at the time. It's all different, man. The support I had there was crazy. The kids did a dodgeball tournament, kind of a benefit thing for me, man. And so that was.
How
that
much
was
does
really
that mean
cool.
to you,
dude?
Where the students that you're working go do this?
Yeah, it's it meant a lot. It still does. They did T-shirts and all this stuff. So
Played dodgeball.
yeah, I played dodgeball to raise money to help me out. So that was really cool.
So that tells everybody right now he's a cool cop. Because a lot of kids, if you're a shitty cop, be like, nope, we're not doing it.
Yeah. So yeah, it meant a lot.
How about the first time you heard the words "you're cancer free"?
That was pretty cool. You get through.
You went out and got a cigar.
Yeah, no, not quite. That didn't happen for a few years later. That didn't happen until my son turned 18.
Have you had a cigar with your son?
Oh, we've had a lot of cigars together, man.
Is that the best cigar moment you've ever had?
It is. It really is. As far as my cigar smoking goes, of course, moms being moms,
Absolutely. They're protective of
they
flock.
are. Yeah, but she wasn't keen on the idea, but she understood, and he was like, "Oh, this is cool." And so that was kind of my or her acceptance back to me smoking cigars. And I would, through the time, like, man, I sure would like a cigar. She said, no. And I get it. And I don't,
Yeah, she didn't want you to leave.
She wants the best for me. Yeah,
Right.
Right. She's like, that's, but when he got old, he's like, I don't want to smoke cigars or whatever. And so, we went to the Leaf. And Jay still tells that story. Man, I remember when you and your son came in for the first time, and we got some cigars. We're gonna grill some steaks and do that thing. And from that day, they love the kid.
And dude, Jay is like a great cigar lounge owner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, welcoming. He wants to know what you're doing.
And
hear the story just like what I do. And it's like,
sure.
Dude, that's a great story. Like for me, here's a question that a lot of different cigar shows or people have asked, like, who's the one person you'd want to smoke a cigar with, living or dead, in all of your life? And my answer is, I did that. I smoked cigars with my dad on his front porch 3 weeks before he passed. And you know what? I don't even know for sure what I was smoking because it was not important. The important part was the camaraderie that you get with that person that you're close to.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome, man. That's super awesome. So, like, I know your son is going through a bunch of classes and shit, but when he graduates, you're going to have a cigar with him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. And we've had some cigars to commemorate some of those. It's a pretty tough program.
Yeah,
that he's going through.
But you've celebrated milestones.
Yeah. There's a lot of milestones in the program. He's going through buds. And
you told me earlier that when did he decide he wanted to take this path?
Man, he was in the third grade.
Third grade. Talk about
third grade.
Zeroing in what you want and following through at that age is crazy.
Yeah, we've got some, in elementary school, all the teachers, well, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they write papers and stuff. And so I think we've got one in this like third grade box. And
oh shit.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
He said, man, what do you want to be? And I want to be a Navy SEAL. Right. And so
third grade.
Yeah, third grade.
Most third graders don't even know what a Navy SEAL
is. I want to be an right. I want to be an astronaut. And that story is so crazy.
Astronaut, cop, fire guy, doctor, dentist.
Yeah.
Your guy says Navy SEAL.
Right. So and he's his whole, life. And he's very, man, he's one of the most humble kids about it. He'd probably be upset me doting on him about it, but
somebody has to.
Yeah. So he's committed himself to that whole.
I don't know very many people that have the commitment from the third grade. You know what I mean? That's crazy, dude. Like, what did you want to do when you were in third grade? Do you remember?
Dude, no.
Right. I think I wanted to be Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I had no idea what a Navy SEAL was when I was in 3rd grade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just also different time for us. You
Right.
grew up, you're 3 years younger than me. I remember the 70s. I remember the 80s. You know what I mean? It was a way different life then.
Yeah, for sure.
And you grew up as a military brat,
I did.
going all over the world.
No, not really, man. I was,
You were Florida and then Abilene.
yeah. I was, California. I was a beach bum growing up, man. You know,
There's nothing wrong with that, except that you left there and went to Texas.
Yeah. I was pretty upset
Did you
when
miss the
my old
ocean?
man, dude, I loved the ocean. You know, like I said, I was never very studious. I was in elementary school, skipping school. I was skipping school to go to the beach, man.
You're in Florida.
Right? What else you gonna do?
I was so non-studious that I went to summer school my senior year. And because I had been on such good terms with our vice principal, he knew me very well because I was in his office a lot.
Yeah.
When I failed English my senior year, he called me into his office and said, "Hey, you got to go to summer school to get your diploma. And I have changed what you have to take from English to PE." So I went to PE for summer school to get my diploma, and we bowled, went swimming, and we did Frisbee golf.
Yeah. I think 1 year I failed lunch.
Because you were never there.
Yeah.
You were off campus.
I was sleeping or,
Yeah.
thinking about the beach or something. But no, so that, then, I think I was like 10 and my dad said, "Hey, we're going to Texas." Like, why?
And
Why?
you're like, it's not close to water at all.
What's in Abilene, Texas? At
Were you
10.
so bummed when you got here? For a while, at
well,
least?
yeah. You got that's 80. What 82? 82 Abilene, Texas. Abilene was. Had the blue law and all that. You could only buy certain things. On
Sundays, you weren't
you couldn't buy
buying shit.
anything, man.
No.
And but it was still good, man. I had a good childhood. I didn't want for anything, man.
When you look back, you're like, you know what? I had it pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
As do I. I grew up with a dad that was a railroader, and what I knew was he was gone all the time.
Yeah,
But he
That's kinda like my
provided
old
very
man.
good for us.
yeah. So my dad was a flyer. He was a load master on the 130s here, and so he was gone a lot.
Did you fly any when you were in?
No, I was a cop, man. I always.
So you were a cop even in the Air Force.
Yeah. I was, yeah, that's kind of always my thing, I guess. I thought first, when I first started looking into, I wanted to, wanted to go to the federal. I want to go DEA. That was my thing, man. I was like, I'm going to go DEA. Well, you got to have a college degree, and that really didn't work out.
Criminology is something you need.
So yeah, when the college thing wasn't working out, my old man took me down to the recruiter and said, "Hey, here's an option." And right about that time, actually before that time, I'd enlisted, and then the Gulf War kicked off, the first one.
So you say you need to get your shit together and trained.
So and I got a whole family of military.
I was
folks.
going to ask you, was your dad's dad in the military?
So, story behind that is my dad, the guy that raised me, actually, adopted me. My biological dad, my mom got divorced when I was very, very young.
How old?
Like 2.
Okay,
Two or three.
My parents divorced before I was 1,
Mm-hmm.
and my stepdad married my mother before I was 2. So it was, and same thing. You know what I mean? He was like, and my real dad
very
was a
similar
Navy
path.
guy. And my real dad was a Navy guy, and my stepdad was an Army guy.
Yeah, so my real dad, as it turns out, I learned later on, you know, he was a firefighter in California, forestry.
Did you ever meet him?
Yeah. We still got we got a relationship, you know, and yeah. So it was one of those typical. You'd go out and you'd stay time with them.
And just so you people know that in the 70s, that was the norm. You know what I mean? Like your parents divorced in the 70s.
Yeah,
that was the norm.
So, so I'd go and I'd spend time and of course my mom and my dad, who I'd call my dad because he raised me, man. He was my dad.
Well, when I told you that I smoked cigars with my dad on the porch, it was my stepdad because that's who raised me.
Right. And so, he was a firefighter, hitting all those wildfires out there. But, come to find out, he was in the Navy as well.
Shit.
Yeah, he was in the Navy in Vietnam. And what's kind of crazy is they call him SWIC now. It's a special boat.
Oh, I have a friend that was SWIC.
So he was they as they called it the brown water Navy back then. So he was on the patrol boats in
providing
in
support
Vietnam,
up and down the rivers and shit.
Yeah, so he did that, and then he was on some other ships there. But yeah, my dad, he was career Air Force, but my grandpa Jack was a career Navy guy.
Wow.
He was.
Wow, that's way back when.
Yeah, he was a senior chief, which he's senior enlisted, E8, I think when he got out. So yeah, he was Navy during World War II, Korea,
wow.
Vietnam. So yeah, we got a lot of military.
So your son's carrying on the very strong tradition.
Yeah, he is.
That's got to be special.
It is, man. He's he is a servant. He has got a servant's heart. When you have
a servant's heart, even though you're a badass, that's what keeps you grounded. Because if you don't have that, you can be just an asshole that's a badass.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of what career path you choose, if your heart's not in the right place, man, it can be kind of bad.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's doing cool guy stuff. And
he's 22.
But he's 22. But he just, he's always felt that God calls him to do what he's doing, and it's not, a lot of kids see those type of things, and it's more publicized now. Those jobs in the military, those special operations type jobs, and they'd say, "Oh man, you're just running and gunning, and you're blowing stuff up." And
there's a lot more depth.
Yeah, there is, but he has always felt called to just be a protector.
That's awesome, dude.
And serve, and he's very patriotic. And just he loves his country, wants to protect people.
I love all of that, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to have you over, because the story about your son was amazing. Now we find out about your dad, your grandfather, but we're going to shift gears here. You remember earlier I told you there's some questions I wanted to ask you, but I wasn't, and then I was like, oh, I'm not going to ask you right now. We're going to wait till we're on the show.
Right.
So, as being a police officer, you pull someone over. Okay, this is just a hypothetical. You pull someone over, and they crack their window down like an inch.
Mm-hmm.
and you say, I pulled you over, blah, blah, I need to see your registration, license, all that jazz. And they go, they hold their license up against the window. And you're like, I need to see it. Hold it, whatever. Hey, low down your window, all right? Like, how do you deal with those people? Have you ever had one?
No, never.
You're bullshitting me.
I'm bullshitting you, man. I've been doing this job for 26 years, dude.
So you do deal with that.
Yeah.
And
you do.
How do you freaking be like, quit being a dick? I'm a normal dude just like you. I just happen to be a law enforcement agent, but at the same time, I'm just the same normal dude you are. Quit fucking around and let's just get it on. Like, how do you deal with that? Because I see a lot of people on YouTube and shit doing that, and I'm like, why are you inviting that outlook to where it's like, okay, well, what the hell are you hiding?
Yeah. So you pretty much got one of two ways you can handle that situation.
Okay.
Okay. You can get all spun up, and yeah, you see
it
it on
right way or wrong way.
No, it's the wrong way.
So when you handle
you can get all spun, yeah, and that's what you see on the YouTube videos.
Isn't that what they want you to do, though?
Yeah,
they're kind of baiting you.
They are. They're looking for a reaction, and that's why that's why you get the videos, and then you see, the officers, and not taking anything away from them, because I am not going to judge somebody.
Every predicament is different.
Yeah, it is. You
can't judge anybody by watching one of those videos, because you can't. You get side of it.
Yeah, you get like 30 seconds of the whole interaction. But you can get all spun up and get mad and start yelling, or you can just say, "Hey, man, look,
don't make me jerk your ass out of that car."
Yeah. You just treat them.
So you've actually
like
had
human.
that happen. That's crazy,
Yeah.
dude. I mean, I didn't know.
You got to understand, especially with what I do now, and I've done a lot of different jobs. I've done patrol. I've been in the schools, obviously, and right now I'm in the traffic division riding a motor, and so that's my job.
And you love riding a bike,
dude. I love
that. Makes
I love
the job
riding.
Like
I get paid to ride a motorcycle around.
What bike do you ride?
We ride Harley Davidsons.
What's the motor size? Is it 1200?
It's a 114.
Okay. I don't know what that is power wise. Like, what's that equal to?
It's
Goldwing 1200.
No, it's a road. I mean, it's a road bike.
Okay. How many horsepower?
Yeah.
Because the Harleys that you guys ride look badass.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Yeah, they are. I'm like, dude, I don't ride bikes. I totaled one, and it was a near-death experience, and I just gave it up because I wanted to have children one day. Now that I've had them, I'm like, I don't know if that was a good idea.
Yeah. Why'd you quit riding?
To be honest with you, I was scared. I did ride one more time, and when I got on, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, I totaled a bike bad.
Yeah.
Like, I should not have walked away, and I did because at the last instance, I jumped. Dude stopped at a stop sign. I'm going 50 miles an hour. He doesn't see me. He stops, and then right as I get probably 45 feet away, he guns it and pulls right out in front of me, and I T-bone the shit out of him. And right before impact, I stand on my pegs and I jump. The bike smashes
Superman thing.
Yeah, dude, it felt like it, because as I flew over the hood, I could see their faces in the window. You know what I mean? Like slow motion. And it turns out it was a dude I graduated high school with.
Yeah. You have words.
No, it was kind of like, dude, what the fuck? And he was like, dude, I promise I didn't see you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Being on a motor is we ride very defensively. we ride aggressively.
I was 19. I didn't have the
Right.
training.
Well, and that's the thing, man.
Like they'll let anybody get a motorcycle license.
Well, anymore you have to go through a course. But what what I find, and it's crazy, is that in Abilene,
Well, in '89, they did record.
yeah, that's different. Man, but the amount of people that are riding motorcycles that don't even have a motorcycle endorsement is crazy. I mean, I'd
So
say
you pull people over, they don't even have a motorcycle license.
oh yeah, all the time. Like 80% of people riding around town on motorcycles don't have a motorcycle license.
Oh
You can just get on a motorcycle and go.
So when I got mine, I was like, I think I was 18, and I got a CB750. It was a 1981 Honda CB750. And at the time, I mean, it was 1988, so it wasn't that old of a bike, but a 750 for a brand new rider was a lot of engine.
Yeah.
And I rode it like I stole it everywhere I went. That's why I should not have a motorcycle.
Well, that's the problem. Is a lot of people do ride it like that, and motorcycles are great. But you got to understand
be a head on a swivel.
Yeah,
and always looking out
and
for some dumbass.
Yeah. So we ride.
Did you have to take a test in order to make this move? I mean, when you put in for the motorcycle division, I mean, is there because I'm sure a lot of people want to do that. How did you get selected over everybody else?
So, it's a really tough division to get into. Traffic is.
Yeah, there's four of you.
There's 4 motors and there's 2 other cars. But like I said, man, the traffic division for me is like the best job. Great guys, great boss.
Now, are there any motorcycle guys that work on the weekends? Or do you all work
for
Monday
us?
through
No.
Thursday? Okay.
For us, no. Yeah, our division is pretty much Monday through Friday.
Okay, cool.
So some of us have
Friday, Saturday, Sunday off,
and some have Saturday, Sunday, Monday off. Right.
Which either way is pretty badass.
It's a great schedule. It's being that the division itself is not real big. The openings don't come around very often, let alone
and I would imagine
the motors. With anything in the department, you have to apply.
What year did you go in?
I started in '97.
Wow.
So yeah, I've been
through a lot of chiefs.
How many chiefs have I been through? Let's see, Melvin, Stan.
I think there's been 3 since I've been here.
So I'm on my 4th chief. I don't even know the number of sergeants or lieutenants I've been through. Yeah, but we've been through 4 chiefs.
You know Martin?
Yeah. Oh, great guy.
Martin's a great guy.
Great guy.
Like I was friends with Martin before I even knew he smoked cigars, because his kids were homeschooled and our kids were homeschooled. So that's how we met. And I was just like, I want to hang out with this doofus, cop guy. Anyway, he starts coming to the Leaf. We start hanging out. I'm like, hey, man, this dude's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, he is. He is.
I like Martin a lot.
So you apply, and when a position comes open, and of course you've got several other officers that are going out for it, and we were really lucky when I went through, because there were several positions. Several guys were either retiring or leaving or
moving up.
Right. And so you apply, you go through an interview process, do
you have to ride a bike in front of people?
So you do what they started doing. So they'll take they took the group that was applying, man, and I want to say there were like 8 dudes.
And how many positions open?
So at the time there was 1 open, 1 that was probably gonna come available.
So 1 and a half.
Yeah, one and a
8
P,
dudes.
1 and a P. And so you apply and you go through the interview process, and so they took everybody out and did just like a day of, riding to make sure that, you could ride. You did some cone patterns.
Did anybody get eliminated that day?
No.
Everybody was kosher.
Everybody was, hey,
They know
you
how
can
to ride. Okay.
Ride. So you go through the process.
And did you own a motorcycle before?
Yeah, I'd been riding probably for 20 years.
Okay. So you had lots of riding experience.
Yeah.
That helped?
I did. It did, but it didn't. Because what we do on the motors, how we ride is, like I said, I've been riding for 20 years. I'd ridden, I built a shovel head, a little chopper.
Oh, wow.
I've been
You ever built a motor for a 92 Astro?
No, I'm not. I'm really, man, I'm more mechanically declined.
Okay.
I don't have a lot of help in building that thing.
I know a dude. His name's Sam.
Yeah, Sam's he's pretty good, man.
Yeah, when it comes to mechanic shit, he's pretty good.
Yeah. But it's, like I said, it's a totally different type of riding. And so I was not prepared for what we have to do. And so,
well, let me ask you this,
once
though. You get selected.
Okay, right.
Do they give you a training thing, or like say, hey, we know you know how to ride, but here's how we want you to ride.
Right. So there's a 2-week motor school.
And where's that at?
So it depends.
Is it here in Abilene?
We've got So when I came on, we had a Tyson Crop. Dude is phenomenal on a motor. That dude can do crazy stuff, man. He's like, they have rodeo, motorcycle rodeos.
He's like Evil Knievel.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Evil Knievel, but dude can do things on a motorcycle that was like, how'd you?
No shit,
What?
you were amazed.
Yeah, and so different towns, cities put on schools. It's like everything else. So,
But they have
you
a good
can
training.
go right, and you train, and so you there's cone patterns, and they evaluate you daily. Well, they evaluate you on every pattern. You're graded. You ride like to lunch, and you meet at the station, and you ride to where you're going to do training, and they're watching you and evaluating you, and you do all these, do your patterns.
You're not riding up to the school on a motorcycle blasting Van Halen.
No, I wish. I may have done better.
Yeah,
in my
right?
in my school, man.
I'm here to rock it.
If I'd have had some Metallica or something
Hell
playing,
yeah.
And
don't have
you do that
radios?
now. No,
don't
not
have
on
radios?
ours. Not on ours. No.
Okay. But you have cop radios, but no music.
Yeah, no music. And it depends on what your motor's set up with.
You know what would be fantastic? If you are a motorcycle cop on a funeral thing and you're blasting Highway to Hell, that would be awesome, dude. I'm just saying.
Wait, I'd probably get complained on.
Yeah.
So
how much time you got left in the PD? Do you think?
Good question, man.
It's your choice.
Yeah. If you ask my wife, she'll tell me 5 more years. But she'll tell me 5 more years for like the last 10 years.
Trust me, my wife already knows when I'm retiring. I don't know, but she knows.
Yeah.
Whatever the maximum retirement is, that's when I'll retire.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing, but I'm probably inside of 2 years or so.
Dude, at 52, to be having fun doing what you do, you're a pretty lucky man. Not very many guys at 52 are doing exactly what they enjoy.
Yeah, my life doesn't suck, man.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people all the time, man, I don't work for a living.
You do what you want.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying the shit out of it.
I have fun. You know, but, you know,
what's the worst part of your job? What's the worst part of your job?
The worst part of my job?
It's the people going, they roll down their window for it.
Getting up in the morning.
Yeah. But we all have to do that.
Yeah. For me, the worst part is here in where we live is the heat.
In the summer.
The heat in the summer sucks.
Now, have you started taking a cruiser yet, or are you still on the bike?
Nah, we ride, man. We signed up for
All
it.
summer long?
Yeah. So what we do is if it gets down to freezing in the winter, if it's
32 degrees,
32 or below, we put them up. That's by policy. And it's safe.
It's a smart policy.
It is. Summer, it's really on us.
How do you stay
if it's
cool?
over 100, find some air. Go to the Leaf.
There you go.
Get water.
Wait for a call.
Wait for a call. No, you find air conditioning, find some shade. When it gets that hot, I mean, it's understandable. We can, take some downtime and wait for some calls and stay available. But yeah,
because your main objective is to work traffic accidents.
What we do is twofold. Accidents are a big part of it.
What about
accidents and
collisions? High-speed chases. Are you guys in on that shit? Do we
not
have
so
very
much.
many of those in Abilene?
Well, you do. There's our policy is pretty strict on when you can chase and
what's
when
the
you
level
can't.
of going? I'm not going to chase that guy.
Man, if it's dangerous, you got to weigh the situation. Is chasing this person worth
putting other people's
the public?
Lives.
We sign up for putting our lives on the line every day, but is it worth you? Is it worth Sam?
I'd say no.
And that's the
let them go.
Yeah, and that's you can find them later.
I mean, and most of these guys, I mean, if you're in Abilene, y'all have any kind of air support here in Abilene? That's a no-go. Because, in the big cities where they have like
they got helicopters.
They're
and
like,
no,
all right.
we don't have. We don't have air support.
If your air support can see the license plate, why are we chasing this guy doing 140?
Yeah,
I'm like, you're just putting people at risk,
especially on a motorcycle. You ever gone that fast on a motor?
I've gone 135, and let me tell you what, I was scared shitless.
You get the death wobble.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So I don't. I've been in cars. The fastest I've been in a car is at 157, and I was scared shitless then. When you're not the driver, it's not the same. When someone else has your life in their hands doing 157 around a curve, you're like, I want to slow down, please.
Yeah.
So that was in a WRX in 2001. And I was like, all right, I believe you. Please slow down. So that was me. But no, I appreciate the fact that the policy is we determine whether or not it's safe for the public.
Yeah, and every agency has their own chase policy.
Sure.
And so
I used to call the cops 911 when I lived in Houston area, and I was going to work at. I had to be there at 2200, so I'd be driving from like 9:15 on, and a dude would pass me doing like 120. I'd like 911. And I'd be like, I need to report a dude doing 120 miles an hour. And they're like, where's he at? And I'm like, well, it's not where he's at now, but he's heading down. Yeah, and I don't know if it ever did any good.
Yeah, Houston are going, okay, thanks for calling.
Right.
Yeah, we're not. No.
Yeah, there's like, he's gone. But, yeah, so I appreciate that policy, though, because, like, you get the guy running even faster than he would. Now he's trying to get away. And he doesn't give a shit about everybody else because he's trying to get away.
Right. Yeah, and then that just makes a bad situation for everybody.
You ever ran from a cop?
Me?
Back before you were a cop?
I don't think so.
I did on my way to summer school. My senior year, I was driving a 72 Chevelle. I'm late for class. Speed limit back then is 55 on the Lubbock Loop.
Yeah, everywhere.
I'm doing 70. I passed one of those LX Mustang highway patrols back in the day.
Yeah.
And I see him going, and so I floor it. I'm like, that dude ain't going to be able to turn around. I'm gone. Before I got off the exit, he was on my ass like that. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And when he pulls up to my window, he's like, son, did you speed up? And I said, no, sir.
No.
I didn't even see you.
Dude, you were in a Chevelle, man. Okay. So you were in a muscle car, dude.
Yeah.
When I was that age, dude, I was driving a what was it? It was a 75 Volkswagen Bug.
Oh.
I ain't running from shit.
Yeah. Well, I'd never ran before, but I was like, he's going that way at 55. I'm going this way at 70. I can exit and get off and he'll never see me. He went up to the next overpass and turned right before he got to the overpass, and boom, he was on me. And I was just like, damn, that car was fast.
Yeah, DPS had special cars back then.
Yeah. And well, my cousin had one of those, and it was the LX Fox body style. And at 145, I was telling him, all right, I'm good. Please slow down. Because I always thought, man, a rabbit runs out in front of you, we could be toast. So, well, hey, man, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us on Cigar Talk, man.
Yeah, pleasure, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah, we'll have you back again.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the interview with the motorcycle lawman. And now we got Hatch coming back, and I'm sure she's going to have some feisty things to say. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hey, thanks for hanging through the break. We got Hatch back in the co-pilot seat, which I think she's just driving. Guys, co-pilot shit my ass. She's driving.
Hey, you know what? Jason was awesome just now.
Dude.
Yeah.
I just met the guy today. Had you met him before?
No.
You just met him today.
With you.
Okay. Rock and roll. And you meet cool people and you're like, you know what? You should come over and be on the show.
I feel like you say that to every third person you meet.
That's because I think people are interesting. That's what I do. So anyway, where are we at on the show? What are we doing next?
Let's talk about the showdown.
Oh, let's rock and roll the showdown.
What you got?
I'm going to let you go first.
I'm going to talk about the CAO Resonator.
Oh, wow. You smoked that last week.
It's too much cigar. It's way too much.
I've never bought one because I
was given one.
And you smoked it.
I didn't even finish it. It was so much.
It's too much. It's like nobody wants that much of the same cigar.
It's quite the commitment.
8 inches by 60.
It seems like 14, but yes.
Yeah, because an hour in, you're like, oh, I still got another half of this cigar to go. And it's like, it's not a bunch of, like, if you like a 6 by 60, perfect. 6 by 60 is the max.
And
but when you do an 8 by 60.
Yeah, and I was purposely trying to smoke it fast at the end, and that does not work.
It's a big ass cigar.
It's just too much.
You can puff faster, but it's still there.
So if you really just want a giant cigar that will take you all day to smoke, the Resonator is your boy.
Yeah, Larry smoked one, and
Sam smoked one.
Sam smoked one, and I was like, that's too big for me.
No.
I like to smoke different cigars at a faster pace than that.
No joke.
And so for me, I like a 6x46.
Mm-hmm.
I could be done with that in an hour. But that 6x8, 60x8, I'm like, no.
No. So there you go. The Resonator.
No go.
It's a no-go for me.
All right. What else you got?
Oh, gosh. I've got, one of the ones
you didn't
I smoked.
smoke any cigars on the Buffalo Run?
No. One of the ones I smoked here in the last, I guess, couple of weeks, and I think I've talked about this one before. I've had an Alec Bradley Rare and Fine in my humidor.
You were
yes.
smoking that the other night. Because I was
Yes.
like, that's a great cigar.
It's been sitting in the humidor for probably a year and a half.
Do you know what year it was?
I think it was a 21.
Okay. Because my favorite is the 19.
Yeah, I think it was a 21, and
How was it?
fan-freaking-tastic.
I've never had one of the 21s.
I really enjoyed it.
They're hard to find. That's why they're called rare.
Rare, yeah.
And they're fine because it's very good tobacco.
Yes, I highly recommend it.
Yeah. To me, that's the Alec Bradley pinnacle of cigars is the rare and fine.
Yes.
All right, what's your third one?
Oh gosh, what did I put down? Third one is one of the ones I smoked that I haven't smoked in quite a while. Actually, was the Padron 3000.
Oh, I have not had one of those in forever.
I know, and to be honest, my humidor was low. It was pretty depleted, and I'm like, I guess I'll bring this little bad boy out.
Which humidor do you have?
The Case Elegance.
The acrylic.
This one was not in the acrylic. This one was in the black matte.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's been probably a couple of years since I've smoked that one. And it was okay. I mean, I'm like, it was, it's the typical price point for what you would, get.
On which one?
The Padron 3000.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you get a Padron, whether you get the Padron 2000 all the way to the 1926,
yeah,
there is a certain Padron flavor profile that you get.
Yeah.
What I find personally is that the lower the number, 2000 and up, the lower the number all the way to the 1964 and 26 is the more money you spend, the better the Padron flavor gets.
Yeah.
It's more pronounced.
This one, not as pronounced.
But, I mean, it's not that expensive either.
Right. Yeah, you're
What is
right.
it, like $9?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And I'll be honest, it's been so long since I purchased one, I don't remember the price of it.
So, somebody came over here, and I forgive myself, because if I don't, who will? You see that little Padron right there?
Yes.
I don't remember who gave that to
That
me.
would be me.
Was that you?
Are you serious?
Gave me that
I
Padron?
gave that to you this week.
I know. I knew somebody gave it to me. I just-
Mother of God. I gave that to you like 5 days ago.
Well, thank you. I was going to say, that's the only cigar in there that's not in the group.
It's the Hermoso.
Well, thank you.
Rob helped me out earlier in the week, and so I said, I will
She
reward
brought over
him.
like amazing bourbons
Yeah.
and that cigar.
Yes.
Okay, well, I forgot the cigar because you brought so much bourbon that I've just been
Oh my
drunk.
gosh. So,
You know how nice it is to be on vacation and somebody bring you a bunch of good bourbon? It's like, not only is that all high proof
oh
stuff,
my God.
I don't have to go to work tomorrow.
Look at that.
That's a great week.
Yeah. So, Padron 3000, that's my number 3.
Okay, well, all right. So let's dive into my 3 for the Showcase Showdown. We had a company send us cigars.
Oh, yes.
You remember what their name was?
No.
Me neither. So let's just skip ahead. I was going to say, if you remember the name, I'm going to talk about them. But they sent us a 4-pack.
Uh-huh.
And the visual intake was amazing. Like, a presentation
Correct,
was
yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
But all of the cigars were very light.
Yes. Very light.
They smoked great, but they were not great.
Why can neither of us remember the name of
It
that?
was
company?
forgettable. That's why. Hey, will you hit that button over there?
Oh, my God.
So, anyway, we'll talk about those on another episode because I'll have to go back and look because I kept the bands. So this week, I smoked cigars on the Buffalo Run from the time we got in the van to the time we got home.
I heard the people who worked on your van could smell those cigars.
Yeah, Sam was like cutting a hole in the floor for the gas tank. There were gas fumes, and he was like, "Hey, Rob, you got a lit cigar?" And I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Well, get it the fuck out of here."
Oh, my gosh.
So while we were on our trip, this is what I'll tell you, folks. I smoked a a McAuliffe Blue, a McAuliffe Black, and a McAuliffe Medallia. That's my 3 for the week.
Yeah.
And I smoked other cigars. But while we were on the race, like those are the 3 best cigars I smoked.
And, in all fairness, your race was pretty short. So
12 hours. Well,
no. The race, my friend. Not the amount of time you were away from home.
Not the drive
race.
home. So you're talking about while we were still in it.
Your race.
You're not talking about white people. Because my race is Irish people. But anyway, yeah, while we were starting out and I was I was pumped. Like, even when I decided to quit doing the challenges, but we were going to be first, like, I was still pumped because I was like, okay, we had a setback. Radiator overheated. We got that fixed. We're on the road. We can't do the challenges and even keep up. So we will skip the challenges and just do the cities. We made one of them. We made one.
And that's what you get with a 93 Astro van.
92. Yes. But you know what? I think we're going to keep that van. And right now, I would say there is a 60% chance we do it again next year. Now that we're a little wiser.
Stay tuned, folks.
That's what we do. So that's the Showcase Showdown. I was going to ask you about solar energy.
Okay.
This is Rob's bullshit session. Come on, indulge me. So it's just in case you want to know about solar. Casey got solar, right?
Yeah, last year.
And when did you order? When did you say I want solar?
Oh,
and
hell.
when was that?
I want to think May of 23.
Okay. And then when were you able to say it's done?
It was turned on in, I think, March. No, I'm sorry. May of 22. It was turned on in March of 23.
So 9 months.
Yeah.
And are you happy with it? You've been doing it now for 1 year and 3 months. So what's your thoughts on the whole thing?
I am happy with it. I think one of the things that a lot of people, there's a lot of, pushback.
There's a lot of bullshit out
Yes.
there about solar.
And I think what a lot of people don't realize is the whole financing stuff. They don't do the math if it's the best financially viable option for them. It was for me. I have been very happy with it.
How much research did you do before you got it?
A lot. And that's the downfall of a lot of people is they don't do the research.
Yeah, some guy shows up at their house, knocks on the door, and says, "Hey, I can do solar for $1,500."
Right.
You're like, you're full of shit.
So one of the things, if you talk to realtors, they'll discourage you from it because if you plan to sell your house and you have it's basically considered a lien on it.
If you finance. Right.
Correct.
But if you don't finance,
then
what's the downside?
Nothing. And
it doesn't bring your home down in value.
No. And, they'll say, well, there's not enough research on it, which is true. I mean, it's fairly new to Texas, whatever that means to you. It's not a new technology, but it's very dependent on your particular situation. And for me, it made sense.
You were looking long term.
Correct.
You're young.
Right.
And so you do it now.
Right.
You get it long term.
Yeah. I'm not selling my house in the next, foreseeable future. Like it's a viable
You don't plan
option.
on moving.
I don't at all, period.
Yeah, ever.
No.
So why would you?
Right.
So if you get solar, it'll pay for itself, and then it's lights out savings.
There you go. Yeah.
And how long do you have to do it before you get your money
Oh
back?
gosh, I'd have to look back at the numbers. They'll say like solar panels are good for 25 years. I think mine after like 15, it pays for itself or something like
Okay,
that.
so
It may
you
be
get
less
10
than that.
years,
Yeah.
and then hopefully in 25 years they have some new crazy badass shit
Yeah.
that you'll be like, yep, I want that.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed it. Again, I think a lot of the downfall is A, shady companies, B, people not doing their research. A lot of it is like any other electric company. You do have to research electric companies like anybody else.
So were there any hiccups along the way?
The only hiccup, honestly, was for our particular town. Mine failed inspection twice and it passed on the third time. And I finally said, is it failing because it was installed wrong, or is it failing because of the way that our laws are, or our codes are written? And they said, it really depends on, it's not installed wrong. Well, one time there was like a wire that was not done right or whatever. Okay, great, whatever. They fixed it. The second time they were like, it came down to the person who read the code, because ours is, 9 inches thick.
And depends on
it's-
who's reading
and
it.
it's all dependent on who reads it. So the third guy came out, read it, said it's fine.
Okay.
That's for our particular city because it is so complicated and there's very contradictory stuff written in the code.
So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you recommend the company that you went with? Or let me ask you a different way. On a scale of 1 to 10, what star rating would you give them?
I would give them a 7. My only...
Okay, so 7. So what takes away the 3 points that got them to a 10?
Communication. I was having to constantly contact them as opposed to them contacting me.
Okay.
And that's a huge... And you know this.
I feel that way with lawyers.
Yeah. Communication is a really big deal for most people. Like,
Keep me updated.
keep me in the loop, keep me updated, whatever. I shouldn't be having to hound you.
I don't see you for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm going to wonder what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. So my particular company was fine.
They did good work.
Yeah. I mean, they came in, they installed it over, I think, a 2-day period.
Oh, that's not long.
Yeah. And
What do you know about cleaning the shit?
there are companies who say we clean them. If you talk to any solar person, they say it's not necessary. It's a waste
The
of money.
rain cleans them.
Yeah.
I saw these new micro robots that clean solars, and it's like you're just building shit to strip people of their money.
Yeah. So you have an app and you can see what you produced from year to year, month to month, day to day, whatever. So you can compare it, like the productivity and stuff.
Okay.
And mine is pretty much on track with last year. The only difference is, we've had a little bit more rain in some months than others and yada, yada. So, but it's pretty much on track and I've never had it cleaned. So.
Yeah, I watched a lot of videos and they're like, that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to wrap up the Rob's bullshit. Tune in next week and you'll see how we fricasseed some fricassees.
I don't know what that means, but let's tune in.
Until next time.
See you later.
Until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again.